Story 1. The Ghost in the Flat in the quiet seaside town of Kent. 43-year-old Claire Redfield lived a quiet life. A nurse, a mother of 2 grown children, and a respected community member. Nothing about her life hinted at danger. That is, until neighbors began hearing strange noises from her flat. On January 17, 2006, Claire didn't show up for her night shift. Her colleagues called repeatedly. No answer. Police arrived the next morning after concerned neighbors reported screaming coming from inside. What they found was horrific. Claire had been attacked in her own home, bludgeoned with a metal pipe and then but nothing was stolen. No forced entry. Police immediately focused on someone she knew. Security footage showed a man walking into a building late at night, someone police later identified as Daniel Kerr, a 26-year-old ex-boyfriend with a long history of harassment. He had served time for domestic abuse, and just months before the murder, Claire had filed a restraining order against him. Kerr had slipped into the building behind another resident. He hid in her apartment for hours, waiting. Then, as Claire arrived home, he ambushed her. His fingerprints were everywhere. The trial was quick, the evidence overwhelming. In 2007, Kerr was sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum of 25 years. But what haunted people most wasn't just the crime, it was how Claire tried to warn authorities for months. Her reports, all ignored. A woman was screaming long before that night and no one listened. Story 2. The São Paulo bank siege in August 2021. The city of Aracatuba, Brazil, was transformed into a war zone. A group of 20 heavily armed men, military precision, bulletproof vests, night vision goggles, stormed multiple banks in the city center. What made this robbery unlike any other? They took hostages and strapped bombs to their boat. It was midnight when the first explosions rocked the streets. Surveillance footage showed masked men forcing victims to lie in the middle of the road used as human shields. The robbers coordinated with drones and used high-performance getaway vehicles. Police were powerless. Every movement risked triggering an explosive. Dozens of cars were rigged with remote detonated devices. By the time morning came, 3 people were dead, including 2 civilians. The robbers escaped with an estimated 3.5 million reals in cash. But they left a trail. Tire marks, drone remnants, and messages on encrypted phones led police to a gang known as Novo Congaco, a group responsible for militarized heists across Brazil. In the following months, authorities arrested 17 individuals tied to the operation. Incredibly, 5 members were caught trying to plan another attack, but the scars in Aracatuba run deep. Surveillance systems were upgraded, bank security overhauled, but locals say they still flinch when fireworks go off. Trauma echoes louder than any siren. Story 3. Frozen Terror. The Russian icebox murder. In a quiet suburb outside St. Petersburg, neighbors noticed something strange. 34-year-old Oksana Pavlova hadn't been seen in days. Her mailbox overflowed. Her cat meowed non-stop. But her husband Dmitry insisted she had gone to visit relatives. The neighbors didn't believe him. Police were called in. They found the apartment disturbingly clean, almost clean. The bedroom smelled of bleach, but it was the freezer that unraveled the truth. Inside were plastic-wrapped packages. Body parts. Oksana had been dismembered, carefully preserved in the household freezer. The torso was still partially thawed. Dmitry Pavlov was arrested on the spot. During interrogation, he confessed, but with a chilling lack of remorse. He claimed she mocked him, that her infidelity had driven him to it. He said he wanted to preserve her memory. Investigators found journals detailing his obsession, not only with Oksana but with control, with ownership. He believed if he froze her, she could never leave. Dmitry was sentenced to life in a Siberian penal colony. The press called it the icebox murder, but for Oksana's family, no name could capture the horror. Segment 1. The dollmaker of Novosibirsk. In the icy shadows of Siberia, a quiet academic named Anatoly Moskvin lived among dolls, or so it seemed. Police uncovered 29 life-size figures in his apartment, all eerily dressed like little girls. Each one was the mummified remains of a young girl exhumed from local cemeteries. Anatoly claimed he was giving them a second life, believing he could bring them back through magic. The story shook Russia and the world, not only because of the scale, but because of how long he went unnoticed. His methodical approach, detailed diaries, and chilling interviews made it one of the most disturbing cases in modern Russia. He was declared insane and remains institutionalized. Segment 2. The Silent Widow in a sleepy Cotswold village. An elderly woman, Margaret Hallowell, quietly poisoned 3 husbands over 20 years. Each death was ruled natural at the time, until her 4th died with oddly similar symptoms. An anonymous tip led to the exhumation of previous victims, revealing traces of digitalis, a potent heart medication. Hallowell had worked as a nurse decades prior and used her knowledge to manipulate death like a craft. Segment 3. Brazil's bank robbery from hell. In Aracatuba, Brazil, a highly coordinated group of 20 criminals executed a heist that stunned the world. Armed with automatic weapons, drones, and explosives, they blocked roads, placed hostages on car roofs as human shields, and looted multiple bank vaults. Surveillance footage showed a militarized strike, getaway cars with reinforced armor, tire spikes, and remote detonated traps to stall police. It took over a year, hundreds of arrests, and international help to piece together the network, which was linked to a notorious faction in Sao Paulo. But over $5 million has been recovered. Segment 4. The Ghost of Route 15. On a foggy road between Maryland and Pennsylvania, 4 women disappeared in nearly identical circumstances over 2 years. All vanished at night, leaving behind running cars and purses still on the seats. Locals spoke of a haunting figure seen near the Route 15 corridor. FBI profilers suspected a long-haul trucker, and they were right. DNA from a cigarette butt led them to James Willard, a quiet man with a spotless record and a haunting secret. A trailer retrofitted with soundproof walls, locks, and tools of torment. His confession was as chilling as his silence. He now serves 5 consecutive life sentences. Segment 5. The Paris morgue mystery. In 2002, morgue staff at a major Paris hospital noticed strange shifts in the body logs. Corpses were disappearing and reappearing with different tags, and certain organs, particularly heart, were missing. An internal investigation led to Dr. Louis Charmant, a respected pathologist. He had been selling organs on the black market, laundering his operation through falsified death reports. The full scope unraveled only after a whistleblower leaked documents to Le Monde, sparking an Interpol manhunt that ended in Morocco in 2006. His trial revealed a grim market of body trafficking across Europe. Segment 6. Hitchhikers. Final farewell. Between 1995 and 1997, young backpackers hitchhiking along the Hume Highway vanished. Their remains were later discovered buried in shallow graves in the Belonglo State Forest. Police linked the killings to Ivan Millet, a seemingly unremarkable road worker. Inside his home, investigators found weapons, maps, and trophies from the victims. Milat's precise knowledge of terrain and isolated travel routes made him a predator of opportunity. His case sparked global headlines and changed how backpackers traveled in Australia forever. Milat died in prison in 2019, never confessing to any of the murders, even as new ones were suggested. Segment 7. The Crypto Queen of Bulgaria. Ruya, once praised as a financial visionary, promised riches through her crypto, but behind the glamorous facade was a Ponzi scheme that duped billions from investors globally. She vanished in 2017, boarding a flight from Sofia to Athens, and was never seen again. Interpol now lists her as one of the world's most wanted fugitives. The case is ongoing, with multiple arrests across Europe, but Ignatova remains a ghost. Many believe she's dead. Others think she's protected by high-level criminal networks. Her legacy, one of the largest crypto frauds in history. Segment 8. The Nightcrawler of Mumbai. In 2011, Mumbai police were baffled by a string of brutal victims, mostly elderly women, were found strangled with their own saris. There were no signs of forced entry. CCTV finally caught a figure climbing walls like a spider, moving between balconies with eerie speed. The man, later identified as Vijay Paland, used inside information from apartment staff to target victims. When caught, he confessed, with Chillin.com. His motive: they were alone. And I was curious. Paland remains on death row, with multiple appeals rejected. His case drew comparisons to serial killers in the West, rare in India. Segment 9. Frozen Lake Secrets. In 2008, beneath the frozen surface of Lac des Écossaises, Quebec, fishermen discovered something that shouldn't have been there. A submerged SUV with 3 skeletons inside. At first ruled an accident, further digging revealed a horrifying truth. The victims had been poisoned, and the car deliberately sunk. Investigators traced it to a family patriarch, Maurice, who confessed to killing his wife and sons to start a new life in Alberta under a false name. His motive: debt and a secret affair. The confession was caught on a wire during a staged confession to a fake priest. Segment 10. The Red Room Murders. Tokyo police faced a grim puzzle when bodies of 5 young women were found across the city, each with a red silk ribbon tied to their wrist. Online rumors pointed to a dark web stream, the Red Room, where the killings were allegedly broadcast live. While much remains unconfirmed, authorities eventually tracked the IPs to a single hacker with dissociative identity disorder. His apartment was a maze of wires, servers, and cryptic notes. Japan's strict privacy laws obscured many details, but the psychological profile shocked even seasoned He remains in psychiatric custody, his trial indefinitely suspended.